Good morning. This is Faith in Our Hometown, brought to you as a community service and sponsored by Mercy Hospital, Joplin. And now, here's your host, Father Jay Friedel.
Good morning, everyone, and thanks for joining us for another Sunday morning of Faith in Our Hometown. We're always delighted that you join us for part of your Sunday morning. I'm still amazed that some of you are awake at 6 o'clock in the morning, but on a Sunday especially, and especially if you don't have to go to work. But it is good to have all of you with us, and it is good to be here with you this morning. You know, we are in this era now of trying to, you hear a lot in the public discussion about trying to get everybody vaccinated. And I know that there are many people out there that are resisting that call. But this morning we're going to talk with one of our doctors from Mercy, Dr. Eden Esguerra, about why we think that's a good idea for everyone. And so I hope that you will settle in and grab your cup of coffee and listen to one of the infectious disease doctors from our area talking a little bit about why we think it's a good idea for everybody to get vaccinated and where we are in the state of that right now in our area. So we'll be right back after this Mercy Minute. Don't go away.
I have arthritis in my knees, and it was just excruciating. I wish I would have done something sooner. I found myself not able to go up and down stairs, which is bad because we realized we were going to have to sell our house. We decided just to take the worst one first, and we did. I was back to work in 6 weeks. 6 months later, I had surgery on the second one, and I'm back to work in 5 weeks. And I was a little scared, a little apprehensive, even though I knew everything that was going to happen. But I was just impressed. Life is short, and I waited. I think I waited too long.
Well, again, thanks for being with us to talk a little bit about something that is very timely for right now in our area. Again, my guest this morning, Dr. Eden Esguerra, who is an infectious disease specialist with Mercy Hospital here in town. So, and our sponsors, full disclosure, okay? But Dr. Esguerra, why don't you tell us a little bit about why you would recommend to everybody to be vaccinated, and let's just talk a little bit through that and then where we are in terms of that, or you can start wherever you want, but we're going to talk about all those things this morning.
Thank you, Father. I appreciate that you invited us here this morning. And first of all, I'd like to tell the Joplinites that I've been here in Joplin for the past 27 years, and I came to the old St. John's straight out of training from fellowship. So, and I plan to retire, finish my career here at Mercy. So that I'm hoping it will be a few years from now.
Well, it's always a pleasure to run into you in the hallway when I do, but I hope I never need your services.
That's true. Yeah. That's true. But yes, it's been a heck of a year, and never been a year like this. We surely did not have COVID as part of our training, and so we have to learn fast and furious. And right now at Mercy, we have just vaccinated we have given out 20,000 doses of the COVID vaccine. Half of that is about first dose, and about half of that is for the second dose. So we have done about 10,000 full vaccination. We have vaccinated about 10,000 patients, full vaccination.
Do you have those numbers for the whole, like say for the whole county or for the greater Joplin area?
I don't, Father, but I know for the whole U.S. about 35%, 35 to 36% are fully vaccinated. Okay. And about 45% have at least received one dose.
Okay. Now, there's a lot of talk about all this, in terms of doing that. So some people are like, I'm never going to get vaccinated. But from a medical perspective, you who work with, diseases that can spread, I mean, that's your specialty. Why is it so important that everybody consider being vaccinated, and why do you think they should?
Yes, COVID has killed millions of people, and in our community we have seen patients who've suffered and died from it. And it is very easily transmittable. It's very easily transmitted. And the vaccine has offered us hope to end this pandemic, but it has to reach a certain threshold where most of us has to be vaccinated. And right now, we're not there yet.
Right.
And that's
so
why
10,000, and even if, let's say, all the other folks in town have done another 10,000, that's only 20,000 people, and we have 50,000 people living here in Joplin.
Correct.
Yeah.
So, but full disclosure, that's only what Mercy have given out.
Right,
There
right.
are other vaccine centers, so, but still, it's not enough. So, I'd like to mention about the mRNA vaccine because I think that's one of the hurdles that we have to let the people know why they are probably scared about the vaccine.
Mm-hmm.
Is this vaccine was pushed too fast, and because this
So that's what people are saying,
correct,
that they think that it was
and
pushed
they
too
said
fast.
it was too fast, and they
Right.
did not test it on enough people. I'd like to mention that there were about 44,000 volunteers for this vaccine. 21,000 got the vaccine, 21,000 got the placebo. And out of those, about only over 161 of those who got the placebo got the COVID infection. And of those who did get the vaccine, about 9 of them got COVID. That's where we got the figure of 95% effective.
Right.
It's 95% effective in preventing serious disease.
Right.
And so we have a disease that causes serious illness and death, and now we have a vaccine that is 95% effective in preventing serious illness and death.
Yeah.
So that's the two opposing or data that I think people should remember.
Right. Now let me ask this question. So right now, yes, it was fast-tracked, there's no doubt.
Mm-hmm.
But that didn't mean that they fast-tracked it without doing, a lot of the same, studies to test the efficacy of the vaccine itself. Have there been all kinds of problems in terms of people experiencing complications? I mean, have we seen much of that?
It's a very safe vaccine. It's a new technology. It's a novel technology. It's an mRNA vaccine, and that's also a novel technology. That's also one of the reasons why people are not very accepting of this vaccine.
So tell me what an mRNA is, and so that
Yes.
we can talk about it a little bit, so
Yes.
as we can kind of get this in people's heads.
Thank you. That's
Yeah.
a great question. mRNA stands for messenger RNA, and it's a novel platform. It's not like it just came on the past year or so. It's actually been floated around since 1989, but they've been actively using it for the last 10 to 12 years.
But just not on this scale.
Yes, correct.
Yeah.
And what mRNA does, which the Pfizer and the Moderna vaccines are, is it instructs the body to do something. It's a messenger. So when you give the vaccine, I will talk about the Pfizer vaccine specifically here. You give the vaccine, and then what it does in your body is it tells your body to make a segment of the spike protein. The COVID has those spikes
Right.
that we see. It tells your body, it instructs your body to make a segment of that spike protein. And then your immune system will fight that, make antibodies. That's when you get the vaccine, and you said your arm hurt and you will
Right.
have fevers and all that.
No, I didn't
That's
have it.
when
I
your-
didn't, but some folks have had that reaction.
Yes, that's when your immune system is trying to
kick in. Yeah.
Because your body has already produced a segment of that
one of those
spike
spikes.
protein.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so when you get the COVID, the real COVID infection that has the spike proteins, your body already knows how to fight that.
And that was what the problem was before, is the reason why the disease got so spread so quickly is our bodies didn't have the right stuff to fight this particular virus off.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And that's where the studies came in, that the Pfizer and the Moderna vaccine are 95% effective in preventing serious disease.
Right. So it doesn't say that you might not still encounter the disease or get it, but that you're not going to probably wind up in the hospital or wind up with the life-threatening versions of this that we saw in the early days before people were getting the vaccines.
Very good point, Father. You know, it's not 100% foolproof, but if you get the infection, chances are you will not end up in the hospital, or if you do, you will not end up in the ICU on the ventilator.
Right.
There's a very recent data from Yale New Haven Hospital the past few weeks that there were about 6 patients who had a breakthrough infection. They were fully vaccinated, but they still got infected. It was mild. They all went home. These patients were older,
Right.
and they had comorbidities. They have several problems, which
So comorbidities like diabetes or, heart disease or those kinds of things.
maybe if they got this in the early part of the pandemic, some of them would not have made it.
Probably, yeah.
And in those who were not vaccinated during that same time span of several weeks, about 162 of them ended up in the hospital, and some of them did not make it,
Right.
versus the 6 who were vaccinated and all went home.
Yeah. See, and that's partially what I've been trying to say to people. I mean, and I'm glad you're here saying these things because, I mean, I only go with what I get from you guys, the medical doctors, the scientists who study, because that's not what I studied. That's not what I do. Now, my job is trying to help other people take care of each other. All right. And so as I was giving my pep talks to everyone, many of my pep talks were about how do we take care of each other? How do we make sure that, that if I've got it, I'm not giving it to somebody else? How do I make sure that, people aren't, bringing that into church and, spreading it around to everyone? All right. So now it seems like part of my job is to try to say to everybody, we're going to be a lot better off if most of us get infected, So we're going to be a whole lot better off if we can keep, if we get everybody vaccinated, then we can keep more people from being infected in a serious way. So that becomes not my new job. I feel like now I'm just encouraging people to get vaccinated. So what can I or anybody that's watching do to be able to do that?
The most important thing that we can do, I think, is not to try to be a lecturer, because sometimes I also am guilty of that, because I think sometimes I know the facts. I've read it. I can tell you up to the decimal point. I know how many patients have been vaccinated as of 4:20 this afternoon. But people don't want to hear that. They become defensive. It will backfire. So what we need is compassion, to show compassion to those who are not accepting of this fact. We should validate their concerns, their fears, and when they understand we are there for them, that we are not just laughing at their concerns
Right.
or their fears, then they will be closer to us. We can meet halfway, and then maybe they can cross that midline,
Okay.
and then we can get them to our side.
Good.
I think, because I really believe that they are not totally conspiracy theorists
Yeah.
or anti-vaxxers. But if we will just listen to their concerns and be more patient with them, and I am also guilty of that, because I get exhausted trying to say the same thing over and over and over again.
Well, we're going to be right back after a quick break. Don't go away. We're talking a little bit about vaccinations, whether to not. So we're going to be right back after a quick break.
You're watching Faith in Our Hometown on KSN TV, brought to you as a community service and sponsored by Mercy Hospital, Joplin.
So again, thanks for sticking with us for what I believe is a very, very important and timely conversation. My guest this morning, Dr. Eden Esguerra, who's an infectious disease specialist at Mercy. And Dr. Esguerra, before we went to the break, we were talking about saying, you know, it doesn't do good for us to laugh at someone's concerns or to, you know, to downplay them necessarily, but we got to listen to and we got to, you know, hear why people are concerned about maybe why they're fearful of getting a vaccination. So how do we cross that bridge? How do we do that with them?
We have to start the conversation. We have to be very specific. They have to be able to tell us specifically what their concerns are. Like if they are concerned that this is just a very new technology, it hasn't been tested, then we should be able to answer that it's actually not a novel, very new technology.
Yeah, but it's just now more widely used than it was.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
And then we can, if they're concerned that there's microchips or whatever that's there, then we should validate their concern. That I would say something like, oh, I would be very concerned too if there's the possibility that there's microchip that will track us or what I'm doing, you know, because I'm for privacy. But then you should tell them that so far it's been vetted and studied that there's no such thing, there's no
Nobody's
evidence.
found any to this point in time.
Correct. And
right.
Millions have been given. And that it affects fertility. That's also one of their concerns,
sure.
Which is very valid concern.
Yeah. Why? If I were a family wanting to get started,
yes.
Either the mom or the dad, I'd be concerned. You know, but we've not found anything to this point in time.
Correct.
Okay.
When we had a telethon at Mercy, was it last week? One 12-year-old, yes, one 12-year-old called, and he was very concerned. That was after it was approved. The Pfizer vaccine was approved for the 12 to 15-year-old group, and he said, "Will it affect my puberty?" You know, he was so concerned.
Well, sure.
And I thought that was a great question. Because he's a smart kid. He wanted to know how it affects his puberty.
Yeah.
And so you have to take that very seriously.
Because most of us want to make it through puberty.
Yeah.
And go on to being adults.
That's
you
right.
know, and that the kid, and I think you're right to say that, you know, the kid was smart to say, well, if it was his concern, it was a good opportunity for him to be able to ask the question.
Correct. Instead of just laughing at his question, you know, but I thought that was a great question. And he just did not decide not to take it because he's concerned that it might affect his puberty.
Yeah.
So he decided to be vaccinated.
Yeah, that's good. So that's about where we are right now, is we're really kind of reaching down. We're still trying to get all the folks that are over 12 at this point in time.
Correct.
You know, to be vaccinated. And I guess it won't be too much longer that we'll be looking to see maybe even to bring that down to even younger ages.
That's our hope, Father.
Yeah.
And again, before we can really look at the light at the end of the tunnel, we have to reach what's called herd immunity, wherein we can no longer transmit the virus because everybody's vaccinated and they have immunity against the virus, or a lot of people have gotten infected, that they got the natural disease that they can no longer get reinfected, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But we're not there yet, you know. The majority of the population has not been vaccinated fully.
Right.
That's 2 doses of the Pfizer or Moderna and 1 dose of the Johnson & Johnson.
Yeah. So let me ask this question. So we've had other diseases in the past that we finally reached herd immunity on, like polio.
Correct.
You don't hear of anybody getting polio anymore because we've had this immunity now for quite some time. But I'm guessing that somebody still could get it, but it would be such a rare occurrence if it were to happen, I'm guessing.
Correct.
Okay. So what happens if a lot of folks who are just so fearful of the vaccine don't get it? Are we all still then kind of in a danger zone?
Absolutely. That's where the variants will come in. The virus will mutate. They will change their genetic makeup. And then the vaccines that are available now are not equipped to fight that.
Okay, so we just have a new version of the old bug.
Correct. The beauty of mRNA vaccines also is they are more easily adaptable. They can tweak the components such that they can also adapt to these variants.
Okay. So when that happens, so again, say we got a bunch of holdouts that just say, I'm sorry, I'm too scared, or I can't do it, or I still believe some of those other, they are theories out there, or the fears that are out there. So we could all then still be susceptible to those variants of the disease mutating.
Absolutely
all right?
right.
So then what would they try to do? Would they try to tweak the vaccine a little bit and then give us a booster shot or something for?
That's what they're looking at, and I cannot predict what they're going to do. I leave that to those researchers. But from what I've read so far, that's what we're looking at. I think we will need some booster shots. I don't know the schedule, but I think it will be like the flu vaccine.
Yeah. So like every year you do your flu vaccine, they take the most common strains and they try to give you, because they can't vaccinate against all of them.
Correct.
So they just give you the most recent variations and the ones that seem to be the strongest, and so they do that. So this could be something that would become like just the COVID shot every year.
Correct.
If we can't seem to get a handle on or get to the herd immunity.
Correct.
Some people are talking about the fact that because there are so many people who are fearful of getting the vaccine, that we may not be able to reach the herd immunity. Is that still a possibility?
That's still a possibility.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, and so we just have to be patient. We just keep on reaching out to those people. And what I would like to ask, a big ask in fact, is do your own investigation and use reputable sources and not just those that tend to support what you believe in, if what you believe in are not the truth. And that's why we are given free will.
That free will, that pesky free will. If we could just make everybody do what they're, what we want them to do, then it'll all be okay. Yeah, well, that's just not very human, because we all have that where we want to make some choices, and we really do, and I don't blame everybody for wanting to protect themselves and do what they think is really best for them. But there does seem to be an awful lot of misinformation out there about, vaccines and those kinds of things. And this is even before COVID came along. We had a lot of people there that there was a lot of stuff out there that you could find all over the place on the internet about that vaccines caused autism and all those kinds of things. What would you have to say about that as an infectious disease specialist here in our area?
Well, it abounds. Even those people I know of some stars or TV personalities who went on to say that it causes autism, came back and said, not true, but somehow those falsehoods have stuck, and it's up to you to find the truth, but that's hard to do, it seems like.
Well, especially since if somebody says it, it gets recorded and is out there forever on social media, et cetera, et cetera. But again, it's like I used to tell my students, all internet sources are not created equal. You got to have some other stuff to back it up. Don't just accept the first thing you read and put that in your paper as your answer, because it may not be right.
Correct. And along those lines, all conversations are not equal. And I have to remind myself of that a lot of times, because I can get impatient too, how sometimes I roll my eyes, like how many times have we talked about this? But we just have to keep on reaching out all the time, many times, until, we do it today, tomorrow will be another day, until we achieve our goal.
Yeah. Well, I'm grateful to you for coming on the show this morning and talking about that, because I do think we're not finished preaching that message yet. And so I'm grateful to Dr. Esguerra for coming in and sharing with us a little bit about what we know as the medical science and what the doctors are saying about the vaccinations. So we're going to be right back after this Mercy Minute. Don't go away.
Blessings and greetings of Mercy to you. My name is Anna Nichols. I am a Sister of Mercy and currently the leader of Heritage and Spirituality at Mercy International Association. I love the fact that sisters throughout time have gone where they have been called to go, and they have often picked up ministries that they never intended to pick up. 25 years ago, there were 22,000 Sisters of Mercy globally. Today we're down to about 6,200 with Sister Rock and some of the others. But despite the fact there are 6,500 or 6,200 sisters left, there is an amazing number of women and men of Mercy who are working alongside us, and that continues to expand and expand, and for me that is incredibly exciting. So as far as National Catholic Sisters Week, I really look at the legacy that they have passed on, and the fact that so many women, men, young people are living Mercy today. That really is for me what's significant.
I always love those Mercy commercials, especially with the Sisters of Mercy, because again, it was one of those things when they came here to the Joplin area, they just started the hospital because they just saw people getting hurt and they wanted to get them better and to get them well. That's really the reason behind why Dr. Esguerra and people in the medical profession are encouraging everybody to get vaccinated. They just want to make sure that as many people do not get hit seriously by this new virus. And that's the reason why they're just taking that message out. I know people are concerned, I know people are fearful, but most of the medical experts and myself had those vaccines because we really just believe in trying to take care of each other and making sure that nobody gets it so bad that they could wind up like so many people did at the beginning. So at any rate, it was good to have you with us again for another Sunday morning. Come back and join us next week for Faith in Our Hometown. I hope your rest of your Sunday and your weekend is blessed.
Thanks for watching. Faith in Our Hometown can be seen Sunday mornings at 6:30 and 9 a.m. on KSN. Brought to you as a community service and sponsored by Mercy Hospital, Joplin.